as you said, but it's posing so many issues. Isobit coming back to Thibaut Nace here.
He is at this point in time. And Isobit has not, you know, when he has the bit between his teeth, he absolutely wants to close that gap. But then so's Joris Nieuwenhuis and Niels van der Putte coming back, so maybe Thibaut just doesn't have the strength to jump across to the front to Lars van der Haar.
2021 Tabor, last victory, World Cup win for Lars van der Haar. There's Ryan Kamp going through. Kevin Kuhn, Corny van Kessel having a really solid day out there in the navy and yellow of the Schacht Hensmas. There's Pim Ronhaar with Gerben Kuipers. The director of the races at the moment loves Gerben Kuipers. That's why we go all the way far down. Elie Isobit, the red mist has definitely descended today for Elie Isobit. We know what he's like. He comes out swinging when you got him on the ropes, and he's looking to try and put some distance here. He's in a battle with Thibaut Nace.
I think at this moment he doesn't care that Nace is on his wheel. He's actually more in a battle with Lars in his head, and so he's trying to close that gap because his aggression, you can see how aggressive he is out of the corners. You can see how aggressive he is on the bike, turning really tight. He sees he can get Lars. In his head, he's already got him. So it's just really, Thibaut has to try and hold this wheel as close as possible so that when he comes back, he can go over if he has the energy to.
So Thibaut Nace doing the right thing, you'd say, just sitting back, following Elie Isobit. Paul Sausen being goal. They got Joris Nieuwenhuis right behind. Little bobble at the bottom of that drop there for Thibaut Nace. It's the Bauweiser Trek Lions and Paul Sausen Bingo on this course here today. Isobit, he was up there last year and had a real tumble last year, Elie Isobit, when we were on the other course. They have changed it considerably. There's been a lot of work done. There was a lot of criticism about the amount of stones and rocks that were on this course. They are now running it in a different direction. They've moved the pits and the start-finish straight we approach in the opposite direction, but putting some little few meters in there. Elie Isobit over Thibaut Nace.
Yes, the speed at which he gets back on top of the pedals to turn is a lot quicker in little turns like this. He's got a lower centre of gravity, so maybe his bike's already moved into the right direction, so that's why he can just get out of the saddle. But also he's very quick to just jump the whole time, and that's one of his skill sets, is the his torque rather than necessarily his power.
It's also that aggression as well. He's like, he just is. It's just it's post-race interviews when he's like, don't make me angry, because I love it when his post-race interviews, you know he's angry when he won't even mention his opponents by name in his post-race interviews. It's like the guy that was ahead sometimes for Elie Isobit. But I think this season, the battle, how close a lot of the racing is, it's just giving us some really exciting battles out there. Just touching on Felipe Orts and Cameron Mason. Cameron Mason's best result in a World Cup so far is ninth place in a World Cup. For him, so the British champion is potentially, if he can hold this one, heading towards a career best World Cup finish for him. For Felipe, his best is 6th, so he's running level with that at the moment. Behind the World Cup leaders jersey, Joris Nieuwenhuis also having a good day out as Niels van der Putte just comes to a bit of a halt. Isobit has adapted, as we've said, and now is taking this right-hand line.
There's nobody in front of him, so he's able to choose which one he thinks is the better line. And I think the reason why he took that line on the right-hand side of our screen was because there were other riders around and he knew that was shorter.
The gap on our timing is 14 seconds for Lars van der Haar. We're on lap 7 of 8. But the unpredictable nature of this Maasmechelen course, Lars van der Haar will want more seconds of an advantage over that chasing group if he can manage to squeeze them out at all over the course of this final couple of laps.
can see the rocks now coming up, which we haven't been able to see on certain sections of the course. You can just see those stones coming through, the mud coming through, and they're going to make it even trickier. It's makes it more like riding on gravel, which is not something that is easy to ride on because it moves all the time.
And this is a nature reserve, and they did say a lot of the course work that they've done on the nature reserve has been gravel in certain sectors. They have had some volunteers out this week as well. Races never happen without volunteers who've been out picking out the big stones. But one thing they did say about the course changes, it would take a lot longer today for those rocks and those stones to really become noticeable. And we're now seeing last couple of laps right at the end of the day where those big ruts, and because of the changeable conditions today, that is kind of actually coming to fruition.
Yeah, Isabeth and Nace are getting closer to Van der Haar, but he does only have really one lap left, one and a bit laps left on the last control. So he's just got to keep his head in gear. He's just got to keep focused, and he's just got to go through it mentally as he's going left at this corner, right at this corner, this is the rocks, this is the sandpit, we're coming into this, change gear. You know, all those things that have to go through your head, he has to be as consistent as humanly possible, and he could still stay away.
Lars van der Haar takes that run. So Baloise Trek Lions. Can it be the day for Van der Haar? If you are just joining us, for 2 laps from the end of round 2 of the UCI Cyclocross World Cup here in Maasmechelen in Belgium. After round 1 in Waterloo, Wisconsin, it was that man there in the red and white jersey that took his first World Cup victory. But it is his teammate Lars van der Haar that takes the bell lap. You can see how windy it is on the course. Those flags of Flanders flying straight out and across the start-finish straight here. Your chasing group, Elie Isabeth and Thibaut Nace, go through 17 seconds with 1 lap to go. Van der Haar has just got to string together as faultless a lap as he can here. 17 seconds, it's a lot to pull back on a final lap.
It is a lot to pull back, but Lars van der Haar's last lap was a 7:50 and Isabeth's last lap was a 7:45. So in theory, there is a possibility that if he's capable of putting that lap out and Lars isn't capable of putting a faster lap out, they could come together. But when you're on that last lap in that World Cup, in this position where you're winning, there is huge adrenaline to stay there. And Lars knows how to manage this situation. He knows how to manage the nerves. He's been here before. 2 years ago, sure, but he's been here plenty of times before. So he is in a good position, and yeah, come on, Lars.
32 years old now, Lars van der Haar. Can he hold on and take this? His last World Cup win, as we said, was in Tabor in 2021. 8 victories. He's been a European champion, and with the Euros a week away, another European champion you can see there with the bands on the cuffs of his jersey is Elie Isabeth, but Van der Haar is both of those riders great championship riders. So Lars is definitely coming on to form at the right time.
He's always good this time of year. He loves Koppenberg as well. Lactron Warden, like you said, he won last week. He always seems to be good in this time of year. And yeah, you know, anything can happen next week. They've all said that Nace is the favourite, and when you're coming into a championship event, confidence is an important part of your prep, but also that final week could take you from where Nice isn't looking as strong as he has so far this year. It can take you from that position to being the absolute best because you were able to peak, and that peak in those last 7 days leading up to the championships are a really, really important time for recovery and for the top up of your training to that final fine-tuning. So yeah, it could just be that Nace is actually trying to peak for Sunday next week.
And Wednesday, Koppenberg Cross. That's a day to work from home. or not perhaps feel particularly well, if you need a note, as we always say, Marty, all right, you know, if you need it, Wednesday, you need Wednesday off. This week it's Koppenberg Cross. Lars van der Haar won one of the most spellbinding ascents of Koppenberg last year to take that victory, so don't miss it. Our cows looking a little bit deflated at the side of the course. Eli Isabet and Thibaut Nys are locked in a battle for second and third. Lars van der Haar has 18 seconds now over those chasers, one of which is his teammate and World Cup leader Thibaut Nys. And if the World Cup is an objective for the young Belgium, it's all about consistency as well, isn't it? And as a youngster, this is, you know, a young rider coming through. It's starting to build that endurance week after week after week, isn't it? It's that consistency that is, as everyone said coming into this season, you know, is what Thibaut, you know, perhaps may not have had, but he's showing us.
Yeah, consistency across the season is really, really hard to do. It's a long season, but once you're focused on one series, it is something that is achievable. And for a rider like Thibaut, I think it would be a big goal to say I want to win the World Cup before the start of this season. And just because you won one round when there were 14, I think it's hard to say I absolutely am going to win this. But like you say, consistency. If you're top three every single round, more likely than not, then you're going to win because nobody's going to win every round. And you're going to have other riders like Wout van Aert, Michael van Toorn coming back in.
Just getting a little replay here of Thibaut went down. Just to say, we lost some time. It was out of our camera shot, but
yeah, these ruts are getting really deep again, and as soon as you just your front wheel just goes out a little bit, then that's it. You're on the floor, but he'll get up quick. He's on to the last lap. Not many minutes left, and as long as that bike's okay, he should be able to maintain the third spot.
This is our second ever visit to Maasmechelen here. Elisabeth, look at the speed and the carrying it into that bank. It's been one part of the course which hasn't been his friend earlier on, but moved across to that right-hand line. Still a real battle behind here as Thibaut Nys has dropped back through the group. So it looked like he did go down with a bit of a whack there, Thibaut Nys.
He doesn't look comfortable at this point in time, does he? I mean, as we saw, one of the women crashed in the women's race, and they said it took a lap and a half to recover from that moment. And you don't have a lap and a half now to be able to fight this last part. So
there's a podium up for grabs now out of this group. Joris Nieuwenhuis, Laurens Sweeck, Niels van der Putten, Felipe Orts with Thibaut Nys on the back. Hopefully Thibaut is not in too bad a shape after that crash. He's just looking back over the shoulder. There's a potential sprint out of this group for a podium. The Spanish champion is in there. Joris Nieuwenhuis at the front. Sweeck, the winner last year. He's had a rear wheel puncture after riding his way through the field as well. Today, Laurens Sweeck, it has not gone his way, but it's definitely gone the way of this man on his final lap here. Lars van der Haar of Baloise of Trek Lions into the sand for the final time.
It's really, really important you get a clean run through here. It's really important that you stay focused and you're thinking of what's happening in that moment. You're not thinking about what's going to happen once you've crossed that line. And yeah, he's being super consistent straight through. The gap has extended because Elisabeth was already in the sandpit as he was exiting the previous lap. These are the sections where, as a cross rider, you can make visual time differences. And yeah, Ellie makes a mistake there. He knows, he's already seen going to that sandpit. He isn't as close as he was on the previous lap.
Van der Haar splashes through the mud over the top of that little whoop there. This is your battle for the podium now. Sweeck, Nieuwenhuis, Van der Putten and Orts. The Spanish champion having a great day out. There's Thibaut Nys, and behind him is Cam Mason as Sweeck puts the power down and distances Joris Nieuwenhuis behind. Laurens Sweeck wants a podium position. If you can't win it in defence of your victory last year, a podium is a good place. You can see Lars van der Haar just cleaning the mud off his jersey. into the start-finish straight. The victory belongs to Lars van der Haar of Baloise Trek Lions. What a phenomenal performance from the Dutchman. That is his 9th career World Cup victory, 35th victory as a pro. Behind him, Elie Iserbyt. It's going to be 2nd place today for Elie Iserbyt. And then behind him, it's going to be a podium for Laurent Sweeck of Creelan Corendon. Niels van der Putte comes home for 4th. 5th place for Felipe Orts, goes 1 better than his previous best in a World Cup. Joris Neuvenhuis in 6th. Then Thibaut Nace comes home in 7th spot. Cam Mason goes 1 place better than his previous best with an 8th place finish today. And then Ryan Camp comes home for 9th. Drama all the way, you would say, from that, as Kevin Kuhn finishes in 10th spot.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, yeah, I didn't anticipate that that Thibaut Nace was going to make a mistake at that moment and end up on the deck. I mean, that was quite a place where you wouldn't anticipate it. The ruts are deep. Maybe it shows that if you lose a tiny bit of focus or if you're overtired and you lose that tiniest bit of focus, anyone can make a silly mistake. It's amazing to see Lars van der Haar back winning a World Cup. And while he's won plenty of races, we already know that, the World Cup does hold quite an important stature in European cyclocross.
Outside of that top 10, Toon van der Bos and Kevin Kuhn clearly were having a good battle out there. This is Jens Adams. He comes home for 16th spot. Ahead of him, Pim Ronhaar in 12th. Corne van Kessel, Gerben Kuipers, Joran Visura. Behind them is Emil Verstringer. Is going to come home for 17th. Behind him should be his teammate, Vitse Meusen.
I think Laurent Sweeck can also take a lot of confidence from that, because his final lap 8, was a 7:42, which was equal fastest with Lars van der Haar's 7:42 on lap 6. So Sweeck knows that he's capable. When he will, obviously right now he's not looking at the lap times, but once he gets home, once he's analysed the lap times, he can actually look at that and be like, yeah, okay, it is coming good, I just need luck.
Michael Crispin just outside the top 20. I think it's good for cyclocross fans. See Michael Crispin back up there, as we said, in those top 20s. It's just about stringing some of those strong performances together. Mikkel Borush comes in for 22nd spot, ahead of Danny van Leerop. And behind him, just stopping his watch, is Bomber now. Today belongs to Lars van der Haar of Baloise Trek Lions.
I think it's really tough for under-23 riders to make a step up when they're outside of Belgium. So Crispin's French, and he was on Steve Chanel's team for a really long time, but outside of Belgium, it's really tough for them to take that. Okay, he's one of the best in the world, he's world champion, he is the best,